Imagine you're walking through a forest you've known your entire life. The path is familiar, the trees are old friends. You round a bend you've passed 1,000 times and suddenly, for a single, heart-stopping moment, everything feels utterly and profoundly wrong. The light is alien, the shadows are too long, the silence is deafening. It's as if you've stepped sideways into a different version of reality, a place that is identical to your own, but somehow off. And just as quickly as it came, the feeling vanishes. The world snaps back into place. But the unease lingers. You've just experienced a glitch in the matrix, a momentary flicker in the reality we take for granted. Now, what if I told you that this feeling is so common, so widely reported that it has a name? A name that scientists and psychologists hear all the time, yet one they still struggle to explain. This is the story of the strange phenomenon scientists still can't explain. Welcome. Let's dive in. They can picture the scene, the cadence of James Earl Jones's voice, all with that extra, non-existent word. This is more than a simple misquote. It's a collective rewriting of a cultural touchstone. The examples continue to pile up, each more unnerving than the last. Consider the classic children's film from the 1990s, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The evil queen, in her iconic confrontation with Snow White, looks into her magic mirror and speaks. How does the line go? Most of us would recite, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" It's poetic, it's memorable, it's the title of the movie in many languages. But if you watch the original 1937 Disney animated film, the line is different. The queen actually says, "Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" The word magic replaces the first mirror. This is a subtle shift, but for those who grew up with the film, it feels fundamentally incorrect. Their childhood is suddenly out of sync with the present. From the world of anatomy, another shocking example emerges. Many people vividly remember learning that human beings have more than 5 senses. Some recall being taught we have 7, others 9, or even 21. But nearly everyone has a specific memory related to the human tongue. A great number of people remember a textbook diagram, a clear, colorful map of the tongue showing distinct regions for different tastes: sweet at the tip, salty and sour on the sides, bitter at the back. This tongue map is etched into the minds of millions. The shocking truth? The tongue map is a scientific oversimplification that has been debunked for decades. While different regions might be slightly more sensitive, all tastes can be detected all over the tongue. There are no strict, confined zones. How did this incorrect model become such a universally shared memory? These are not isolated incidents. They are shared, specific, and emotionally true. And for those who experience them, the simplest explanation, that they are just mistaken, feels completely inadequate. The feeling is too strong, the shared experience too widespread. So if it's not a simple memory error, what on earth could it be? Faced with such a bizarre and persistent phenomenon, scientists, psychologists, and philosophers have stepped in to try and provide answers. The explanations they offer range from the well-understood quirks of the human brain to the wildest frontiers of theoretical physics. Let's start with the most grounded and widely accepted theory, the fallibility of human memory. Our brains are not perfect recording devices like video cameras. Instead, they're associative, reconstructive organs. When we remember something, we are not playing back a file. We are actively rebuilding the event from fragments. And this process is highly susceptible to influence. Cognitive psychologists point to concepts like confabulation, where our brain fills in gaps in our memory with logical guesses or fabricated information that feels real to us. We create a cohesive narrative, even if parts of it are invented. This is a normal, everyday process. Now, combine this with priming and suggestibility. When one person mentions remembering the Berenstain Bears as Berenstein, it primes another person's memory to align with that. The incorrect version is repeated, it becomes the social norm, and our brain, wanting to fit in, readily adopts it. the memory is overwritten. This is closely related to the misinformation effect, a well-documented phenomenon where exposure to incorrect information after an event can alter a person's memory of that event. In the case of the Mandela effect, the internet acts as a massive global engine for the misinformation effect. A single post about, "I remember it being mirror, mirror," can infect the memories of thousands. Furthermore, our brains love patterns. We are hardwired to recognize them. The name Berenstain follows a common and familiar pattern in English and Jewish surnames. Berenstain is the outlier. So when we first encounter the name as children, our brain might automatically and subconsciously correct it to the more familiar pattern. This memory is then stored incorrectly from the very beginning. Similarly, "Luke, I am your father," is a more dramatically satisfying and contextually clear quote. It flows better when repeated in isolation. Our brains, when reconstructing the memory, optimize it for storytelling, inserting the name to make the quote stand alone perfectly. The psychological explanations are robust and can account for a great number of the reported effects. They tell us that the Mandela effect is not a sign of a broken mind, but rather a demonstration of a perfectly normal, if sometimes flawed, cognitive process. We are all living with the powerful illusion, the illusion of perfect recall. The Mandela effect simply holds the mirror up to that illusion and shows us the cracks. But for many, the psychological explanations, while logical, feel unsatisfying. The visceral, "I know what I saw" feeling is so powerful that it demands the more extraordinary explanation. And this is where we leave the solid ground of psychology and venture into the realm of speculation, into the world of theoretical physics. For those who find the memory explanation lacking, the most popular alternative theory is as thrilling as it is controversial: the idea that the Mandela effect is proof of parallel universes. This concept stems from interpretations of quantum mechanics and the many worlds interpretation proposed by physicist Hugh Everett III. In simple terms, this theory suggests that every possible outcome of every possible event actually happens, but in a different branching universe. At every moment where a choice is made or a random event occurs, the universe splits. In one universe, you turned left. In another, you turned right. In one universe, Nelson Mandela died. In another, he survived to become president. According to this wild idea, the Mandela effect occurs when there is a brief, accidental bleed-through between these parallel realities. Those who remember the Berenstain Bears as Berenstain are, in this hypothesis, somehow tapping into a memory from their consciousness in another universe where it actually was spelled that way.
They're experiencing a form of quantum immortality, or reality residue, from a timeline that has since diverged from our own. This theory is incredibly appealing because it validates the intense personal certainty that people feel. It tells them they are not misremembering. They are, in fact, remembering a different truth, a truth from another version of their life. It transforms the phenomenon from a cognitive glitch into a cosmic adventure. Of course, the parallel universe theory is, at present, completely untestable and unfalsifiable. There is no scientific experiment we can conduct to prove that information is leaking from another reality. Mainstream science dismisses it as a science fiction solution to a psychological problem. But it persists because it speaks to a deeper human desire, the desire for our most profound intuitions to be correct and for reality to be more mysterious and wonderful than it appears. Beyond parallel universes, other, even more esoteric theories have been proposed. Some suggest that the Mandela effect is a form of mass psychological manipulation, a glitch inserted into our collective consciousness by some unknown entity. Others wonder if it is evidence that we are living in a simulation, a vast, complex computer program like something out of a movie. In any complex simulation, they argue, there are bound to be bugs, updates, and patches. The Mandela effect, in this view, is simply us noticing a change in the source code. A developer somewhere fixed the spelling of Berenstain or adjusted Darth Vader's line, and those of us with a connection to the old version perceive the shift. While these ideas are fun to contemplate, they remain firmly in the domain of speculation and philosophy, far from the reach of current scientific validation. So, where does this leave us? We have a phenomenon that is undeniably real in the sense that people are genuinely experiencing it. The feelings of dissonance are authentic and widespread. We have a set of solid psychological explanations that can account for most, if not all, of the reported effects through understood mechanisms of memory fallibility and social contagion. And we have a set of spectacular physics-based theories that, while currently unprovable, capture the imagination and speak to the profound sense of mystery the effect evokes. The true answer likely lies not in one extreme or the other, but in a nuanced understanding of both. The Mandela effect is a powerful reminder of the incredible and sometimes unreliable nature of the human brain. It shows us that memory is a social construct, a shared story we tell ourselves and each other, and that story can be edited, revised, and rewritten over time without us even realizing it. It reveals the power of collective belief and how easily a false idea can become truth simply through repetition and consensus. At the same time, the persistence and emotional weight of the phenomenon challenge us. They remind us that consciousness itself is the greatest unsolved mystery. We still do not fully understand how the brain stores and retrieves memories, or how the subjective feeling of knowing is generated. The Mandela effect, in all its strangeness, holds up a mirror to this gap in our understanding. It forces us to confront the fact that our perception of reality is a fragile, constructed thing, a delicate balance of neurons, experiences, and social influences. It teaches us humility, showing us that we cannot always trust our own minds, and that our most vivid memories can be illusions. But it also opens a door to wonder. In a world that often feels explained and mapped, the Mandela effect is a reminder that mystery still exists. It exists not necessarily in the stars or in distant galaxies, but right here, in our own minds, in the familiar pages of a children's book or in the lines of a famous movie. It invites us to question, to be curious, and to never fully take reality for granted. The next time you are absolutely certain of something, the color of a childhood toy, the lyrics to a song, the plot of a movie, pause for a moment. Consider the possibility that your memory, as vivid as it is, might be part of a collective story, a story that can sometimes change. The Mandela effect is more than a collection of quirky, misremembered facts. It is a living, breathing experiment in human psychology playing out on a global scale. It is a testament to the fact that reality, as we experience it, is a collaboration between the world outside and the mysterious world within our own heads. And that, in itself, is a strange phenomenon worth celebrating. Scientists may not be able to fully explain it yet, but the search for answers continues to teach us profound lessons about who we are and how we perceive the world we all share.